Welcome to Gwen's Twisted Limbs Yoga. Today we're going to use our blocks. And if you don't have any yoga blocks, then where we situate the blocks, you'll use a blanket. So here we have this one will be under the back of the head. This one will be at the bottom of the shoulder blades around the bra strap area. And if you didn't have blocks, you'd have one blanket like that and possibly another blanket underneath your head. So bring yourself down to your mat and your arms behind you so that you can feel your hands gripping around the block. This is a shoulder opener, so it's extending the shoulders outward, all on its own. So opening up the back like this. This is a beautiful passive back bend. Root the bottom of your shoulder blade area, bra strap area, at the edge of the block. Then fold over, take the hands to the one that's right behind the back of the skull, and place the back of the skull, the back of the head there, right down. Arms by your side. Knees bent and press into the feet and let the sit bones come up and down. And let the body settle here. Have the knees bent and heel toe the feet wide. Feel where the heels are and press into them and lift those toes. And then pivot the toes towards each other and inner knees knock. And notice how that feels. Take a few breaths like this. Notice if the rib cage feels like it's splaying all the way up to the ceiling, open right up. We're going to do a little breath work in this shape. So go ahead and take a nice deep inhale through the nose and place the hands as close to the bottom of the rib cage as you exhale. Inhale through the nose, feel the rib cage move, and as you exhale, direct the rib cage lengthening down towards the hips. Fill right up. And then exhale, lengthen the rib cage downward. A few breaths like this. Feel the arcing of the spine from the sit bones as you breathe like this, all the way to the back of the skull. The movement underneath the hands in the rib cage as you lengthen each exhale downward. You have the option here to bring the block that's underneath the back of the skull on medium. So go ahead and place it down on medium. And you might feel more of an arc, more of a back bend. If that doesn't feel delicious, then just bring it all the way back up. Stay with that breath. Inhale. And exhale, lengthen the rib cage down towards the hips. And one more just like that. Take one hand behind the head, chin to chest. And now we're going to move the bottom block just a wee bit lower. So pivot it just a hair lower and then drape yourself down, head down, arms to your side for a moment. Leave the legs where they are and feel and sense the breath like this. Our starting point here. And let's come back into that same breath by bending the elbows. Lay the hands on the bottom of the rib cage. Notice your inhales. And as you exhale, feel the rib cage lengthen down towards the hips. In through the nose and out through the nose, lengthening. 2 more. Last one. And we're going to one more movement of the blocks. So go ahead and bring the hand behind the skull, chin to chest. Take the block and place it up and down. So spin it up and down the spinal column so that the bottom of the block is rooted into just about the bottom of the rib cage, but it will be the spinal column. And then let the head come down and place your head wherever it feels better. If the block on high maybe feels better, then you do so. As long as the 4 edges of the block is rooted into the floor, so you feel secure, then let the lower half come into the party here by stabilizing this pose. Either the legs can lengthen out for some of you, or bend up the knees and heel toe them wide. Again, spin the toes to each other and let the inner knee knock. Notice the relationship of the shoulder blade coming into the block. And spin the palms down. On your next inhale, let the arms with bent elbows rise up. Fingers might point up. And as you exhale, bend the elbows more and let the arms come downward. They never have to touch. Feel the length of the breath as you inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. One more breath like that. And then leave the arms with the fingertips pointing up. Soften through the elbows. And let one arm come down to the hip and the other arm by the ear. So not too much lower, please. And then inhale up and exhale, let them come downward. The elbows bend a little more each time. Tune into your rhythm of your breath as the arms meet in the center. One goes one way and the other goes the other way. For one more this way. And then one more that way. Bring the elbows down, hands down. Press into the elbows, chin to chest, and come flat on your back now. Legs can splay out. Knuckles heavy. Let the toes have a little wriggle. a little dance. The back of the skull rock from side to side. And notice the little subtleties of the rib cage, the shoulders coming downward as they sink into the floor, the back of the pelvis, through the legs, the heels to the toes. And one more breath just like that. Then go ahead and point the toes up and drag one heel and then the other. Take one block and place it right between the thighs. It'll be from the pubic bone to the knees, and you'll feel a light little squeeze. The other block, leave it by your side. Arms down, palms down. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, squeeze the thighs into the block and notice that squeeze and hold. Maintain that squeeze. Take another breath and then exhale out and let that squeeze relax. Take another breath. Squeeze inward. Hold that squeeze. And as you exhale, let the shoulders sink down. Press through the length of the arms to the fingertips and hold. And then relax that effort and notice what you notice. Again, take another deep breath. Squeeze the inner thighs, hold. On your next breath, shoulders sink down, hold. Feel as you breathe the length of the arms to the fingertips, hold. And now press into the feet and allow the pelvis to roll up, up, up. And let's move like this now. Gently the pelvis comes down, hovering off the floor. Squeeze the block and let the pelvis roll up. Feel your foundation through the shoulders, the arms, all the way into the feet, the back of the skull, as the pelvis comes up and down. A deep breath in and a deep breath out as you move the pelvis up and down. The next time the pelvis comes up, hold. Either you can take, if you only have one block underneath the pelvis. So if you have two, you can leave that block in between the thighs. And if you have a blanket, the blanket will be where the block is. And it's not necessary to have a block in between the thighs. But if you have the luxury of two blocks, then maintain this shape if you can. And just notice a light little squeeze of the inner thighs into the block. Pelvis up high. This beautiful energy coming downward to the heart, to the sinuses, to the brain. Like a river, flowing all of this goodness in this inversion. Take a few breaths in this shape. Then bring the palms down and lift the feet up. Shins parallel with the ceiling or heels down. So wherever you'd like to work, bend through the elbows. Let the hands come to the thighs and sway one way. Let the hands move on the thighs. Feel the wedge support of the hand on the thigh down through the elbow to the shoulder. A light little massage of the back of the pelvis like this. A little squeeze through the thighs into the block. Then come to center and flex the feet and come nice and tall so that the feet are flexed, but they're hip distance apart now. So feel the back of the thighs all the way to the heels. Take a nice deep breath, up, up, up. And as you exhale, a floint. It's in between a flex and a point. The feet come down, you bend the knees, and a little tap. Inhale, flex the feet. Heels guide the way up. And as you exhale, come downward. They might touch, they might not. It's up to your body. Inhaling up, exhaling down maybe a little bit. Then inhale up and exhale down. The next time they come down, let them. And feel for a moment a light little squeeze of the inner thighs all the way down to the shoulders. Arms down by your side. Take a deep breath. Squeeze the block. Let the shoulders come down and lift by pressing into the feet and take the block right out under the pelvis. Leave the pelvis up. And then exhale it down. We're going to move now. You'll inhale up, let the arms come up with the pelvis. And then exhale, squeeze the inner thighs into that block and come down. Inhale up. And then exhale down. And one more. And then let the pelvis come down. Take the block out. Bring the blocks over to your right side. So they'll be butted up. And if you don't have blocks, you'll have your rolled blanket there. And scan the body, lengthen through one leg at a time, nice and flat on the floor. Take a few deep breaths as you observe, as your body absorbs all of that goodness. Beautiful back bends. So notice the targeted areas of the lower spine. You might notice it in the inner thighs, the outer hips, all the way through the spinal column to the shoulders, the neck. And one more breath just like that. And then let's come into a twist by bending up the left leg. Leave the right leg that's closest to the blocks nice and long. And then from here, scooch the foot, that left foot, behind the right knee and let the sit bones come over towards that side, like a little bit of a dragging over to the left, and roll over that outer edge. Place that right or left knee onto the blocks, and this is where you might need to stack the blocks, or it could be the art of folding. So it'll be different for every body. So if it's flat on the floor, or on the blocks. Then go ahead and take the right hand onto that bent outer knee and anchor that knee down. Take the other arm, either leave the hand on the belly or unfurl it. Let it come long below that left shoulder, or let it rise up. As long as it's not hovering off the floor. If it's hovering off the floor, you'll need a blanket under it, so it can relax through the shoulder, the elbow, and the fingers. And then rock through the back of the skull, one way and the other. And then come into stillness. Wherever the nose wants to point, please do. Let yourself rest in this stillness now. And one more breath just like this. Lengthen through the legs. Come back onto your back body and bring the blocks over to the other side. And just notice how you feel. Scan your body. Then go ahead and bend the right knee, pivot the toes right behind the back of the left knee, and scooch your sit bones, drag them over to the right as you roll over that outer edge of that left leg. Place that inner right bent knee down. Let it anchor into the blocks. Place the left hand on top and feel that weight coming down. The other arm, nice and long, below the shoulder, maybe the same height as the shoulder, or bend through the elbow, and let it come at any direction as long as it's down on the floor. And then come into that light little rock of the skull. And notice what you feel. A few rocks, and then let the nose point in any direction. And then breathe, nice and full and deep, in through the nose and out through the nose or the mouth. And one more breath like that. From here, bend up that left leg and let yourself roll. Come on up or you can remain laying down for this portion of alternate nostril breathing. Bring your block. We're going to sit up on a block. So have your sit bones on the block. And here's where it'll be up to your body. If your knees hit the ground, perfect. If they don't, perfect. You'll bring the ground to you by placing a block underneath it or building with blankets up to you. So feeling if your knees are hovering and they're up here, bring something underneath. Build the floor to you. Let's come into some Nadi Shodhana breathing, some alternate nostril breathing. Clearing the clutter of the mind. Take your peace fingers. Place it on your forehead, just below the hairline. Take your thumb into the side of the nostril, that little indent, and feel how when you bring it in, it can relax a little bit through that shoulder. It just cuts off that side of the nostril. Then take your ring finger on the other side and just notice that. The baby finger will come in for the ride. And if the arm is tired, you can bring the other arm in. You can be doing this laying on your back. Feet can be up the wall. Whatever feels delicious here. So go ahead now and exhale. Take the thumb into the right side and inhale fully up the left side all the way up. You'll hold and then press and then all the way out that right side. Inhale that same side. Press and exhale out the left. Take your time. And then close your eyes. Inhale up that same side, and your rhythm might change. Just stay with it the best you can. Press and exhale out the other. Inhale up that same side. Press, exhale out the other. Take your time as you inhale that same side. Press and exhale out the other. Inhale nice and full and deep. Press and out. Inhale that same side. Press and out the other. Inhale that same side. And then out. Last round. Inhale that same side. A little press and out the other. Then inhale that left side and exhale that left side and let the knuckles come down. Feel and sense the subtleties in your body. The right side, red. You might even see the color red, this energetic side. And the left side, a little more passive, intuitive, introspective. We all carry a little sun and a little moon around with us. And this helps to bring this harmony, a balancing. I like to think of it as uncluttering the mind, the body, the energy all around you. Let your body absorb this goodness, this spaciousness from your breath work for as long as you like. You might want to come down on your back or meditate for longer. And thank you for your practice. Namaste.